Hey, Miss Ford, it's Brent Carter. Doing I figured I would do a video instead of a PowerPoint. So this is on Agro terrorism by Brent Carter. Today is May 1st. So anyway, basically said to answer the questions about agro terrorism. So, basically 9/11 basically was a wake-up call for us all that basically, you know, that started this whole terrorist attacks. Before, we never really even thought about anything that would do any of this stuff. This class has really taught me a whole lot, by the way. I know about terrorism, but as far as getting in detail with it, it's taught me a lot, especially about agro-terrorism. Basically, agro-terrorism is where terrorists could attack our food supply, water supply, and they attack that, which would be a very devastating effect on our economy. It would shut us down because we all survive off of water and food. So, it's one thing they attack buildings, but if they was ever to find how to basically infiltrate all of our food and water source, they could kill and reach and affect a lot of people, a lot more than what they could. It could cut off our total source, and we would be it'd be a very big crisis. They think 9/11 was bad. This would be very bad. We've never had any attacks really other than anthrax, which was through mail. But it's something that I know there were some soldiers, and I found this out online reading, that some soldiers had been in a cave where Afghanistans were, and actually found some documents where they were planning on to try to infiltrate our food supply. So that brought a big awareness onto that. Basically, before there was never any really targets on it. We had regulations on food and water to make sure that, people were sanitized, not getting listeria and different foodborne illnesses in our food, but that still came out. But, different food poisons that we would get. Now they have really put an infrastructure on this called agro-terrorism. They have put stuff in place. The FDA is working with the government to work together to do preparedness, to be able to try to, stay on par with this, make sure they catch this stuff if they do try to, so it doesn't get in touch, so it doesn't affect our food supply. And of course, if it does, they do find an attack on our food supply, they could stop it, isolate it immediately, and be able to communicate very effectively and fastly, and stop this and move and be able to communicate. So we're prepared for this, not caught off guard. And what do we do? Let's see here. Our country has learned from many mistakes, and they know that if our livestock was affected, terrorist and economy structure would be lost. As far as what they do now, let's see, we must constantly be improving and evaluating these procedures constantly. In conclusion, the agro-terrorism is not alone, and this government and domestic agencies are working together to reduce threats. The agricultural industry, government, law enforcement, and academic communities are working together to minimize the likelihood of an attack. The state and federal intelligence groups need to communicate and provide law enforcement the information they need on terrorist attack, or called agro-terrorism. Some examples of some preparedness tests are being used right now. Their test is used to bring food supply chain stakeholders together. A lot of these out west, where all these cattle and stuff are made, they're doing a lot of tests out there. There's these forums out there that are being used to try to, if something did happen, what could we do, and just doing a lot of testing. They're trying to get stakeholders together to own these big ranches to see how emergency responders act in a coordinated way to battle against terrorist attacks. It's designed test to respond to a food contaminant event. The last test is to see if agencies have addressed enough awareness to the community. So they basically are doing a test on food stuff. What would happen if a farmer did, or a big, huge farming plant would see an outbreak or something happen? Then what would the community do? How would the steps we would do to stop all this? Again, all the processes it needs to stop this, evacuating. It's mainly brought an awareness and importance of protecting our food source from terrorists. I mean, like I said, we never thought of it before, but now we do. The tactic is to attack the United States' economic stability. The farms and ranchers in America are so spread out and open that they were unprotected also in the future. It'd be very easy to get to them and cause a very big effect before it was too late. Let's see here. And outbreak services, there are agriculture departments that are called out and assess this damage and how much of the farm and how many trucks have left with the affected cattle. So another thing is they have to, if something doesn't get affected, they have to start all these trucks, all these transfer trucks that are delivering everything. You know, if they have left, they need to do roadblocks, they need to conduct which ones they have numbers now and logs on everything so they can let law enforcement know up ahead who to stop, evacuation procedures, and what roadblocks need to be put in place and what to do, and from that forth on what to do with the food, where to store it when it is contaminated. So basically that's about it for as agro-terrorism. I mean, basically, like I said, you know what it is. Before, there was no emphasis on it. Now, after finding them readings and maps on they want to attack our food source, we got to thinking about it. And that goes along with Homeland Security. They are really covering everything now. They got this whole society structure down to pat so this doesn't happen again. A lot of us preparedness attacking our food supply. And this does good with our communication and our technology, that we're able to infiltrate people and get technology and then bring it back to us. That's analysis and stuff gathered so we can put stuff together to protect us more and more. And I'm sure they're working on it more and more to get, you know, stuff done. The biggest thing is I want to know is that I've learned with globalization, can also go with agro-terrorism. This can hurt us. It's going to be a bigger test. You know, globalization, you know, and habits, they can get to through internet. I like this, through internet, and put out these blogs in English now and get to Americans here that own these farms. What if they somehow turn these guys over? What if they made them bad just through internet, and then communicate it that way, and then, you know, that's the only way to infiltrate anything. If you got somebody that's doing the job inside, you can't protect against that. And I know that they constantly have people going out doing investigations. They have beefed up their FDA. They have some Homeland Security divisions that are going out and checking these food supplies every so often. But far as a risk in my part and my idea, with my thinking, is that's going to be a big thing. How are we going to stop? You know, they're able to reach people in the Mexican-Canada borders now. People that are going in and out of the border now, they're reaching them. We know telling who that has been able to hide and get into our borders. You know, that would be the biggest challenge, our border patrol, and just the technology, be able to infiltrate our own American citizens and changing them. So basically, again, wasn't really a presence on this, a presence. Now, after 9/11 and some findings of research, they know that they're trying to target us. We realize it's a big deal. Again, agro-terrorism could wipe us out completely. It would be a bigger devastation than 9/11, I think. I think it's a great topic. I learned a lot about it. You know, I used to be in food service where I worked for Ecolab, where I went around and conducted food safety audits. So I know a little bit about that. It is important, you know, protecting people from getting these diseases. But they were just, you know, field-borne illnesses get people sick. These people could put anthrax in our food. It would kill people and kill our livestock and our food supply. And what would we do then? You know, we can live without buildings, but we can't live without food and water. And globalization has made us where we depend on other people for a lot of supplies. What if they cut us off? You know, it could really be a mess. It's very interesting where this could really go. So I hope this video worked, and hopefully you like it. But it was a good topic. I like it. Thank you very much. Bye.